The following program is sponsored by John Chachis Insurance, your local farmers insurance agent located at 800 Avenue G in Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Ely TV, Channel 3-2 in Ely, Nevada. Ely City Council meeting, May 8th, 2014.
White Pine Historical Railroad Foundation Board of Trustees, the Ely Redevelopment Agency, and the Ely Liquor Licensing Board will now come to order. This is the May 8th, 2014. Okay, opening activities. Okay, can I have a pledge of allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our eternal Heavenly Father, we are grateful to bow our heads before Thee at the beginning of this City Council meeting and to have this opportunity in this free country to be able to decide the affairs which affect us directly. We recognize Thy hand in all things and that we are blessed tremendously to have this opportunity, and we understand that much of the world does not possess it. We pray for Thy blessing to be upon us all here as citizens to help make this a better community, that we will harmoniously work together to address the issues which are before us, that we might fill Thy Spirit and Thy love for us to allow us to be here and to participate in these things at this time. We're grateful for those who serve our city in any capacity and for the time and effort which they put in. Pray that we will have Thy good guidance to be with us in this time, that we will fill with Thy love and share that with those with whom we associate here in the city, that we will all know that we work together to make this a much better place in which to live. We know we have problems, and we know we have challenges, and we're grateful for those. For it is through those that we grow and become better. And pray that we will do so here this day. That Thy Spirit will be with us to guide us, to preserve us, and to let us rejoice in one another's talents and skills and abilities and willingness to be of service. All these things we say thankfully and gratefully in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Now you roll call, please.
Mayor Van Camp.
Present.
Councilman Sutterstrom.
Here.
Councilman Durbridge.
Present.
Councilman Lee.
Here.
Councilman Westland.
Here.
Councilman Hanson.
Present.
City Clerk Treasurer Roden. Here. Public Works Director Jenkins.
Here.
City Attorney Sears.
Here.
City Engineer Oliver.
Here.
City Fire Chief Rivera.
Here.
That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Public comment. Comments not exceeding 3 minutes in length will be accepted from the general public in attendance. If any are made, there may be discussion upon those comments. No vote, decision, or action may be taken upon matters raised under this item until it is formally placed on the agenda. Comments during discussion items will not be accepted from the general public. Section 8.05 of the Nevada Open Meeting Law Manual indicates that the public body may prohibit comment if the content of the comments is a topic that is not relevant to or within the authority of the public body, or if the content of the comments is willfully disruptive of the meeting by being irrelevant, repetitious, slanderous, offensive, inflammatory, irrational, or amounting to personal attacks, or interfering with the rights of other speakers. Any comments?
Carrie Pinter, good afternoon. I missed your last City Council meeting, but I understand you received correspondence from Heather Pilkington regarding the ongoing situation that's been created by not granting our request to abandon a portion of the 1400 block of Cannon and Mill Streets. Since I returned from vacation, I'm eager to share with you the progress we have made. I initiated contact with the Sheriff's Office on Thursday, May 1st, to ask everyone, including myself, and or everything else in the roadway on the 1300, 1400, and 15 blocks of Cannon Street that were abandoned or unlicensed or encroached upon, be issued a ticket so we can start to clean up these now what we consider 3 very important roads. The Sheriff's Office is scratching their heads because this road does not exist on their Ely City emergency map. However, they sent out a deputy to investigate my complaint. After 5.5 hours spending behind our house, meeting with the building inspector, county assessor, public works director, and the city engineer, The deputy trying to issue tickets was attempting to measure the road, cannot come up with 50 feet anywhere. The widest point on the 1400 block is behind Katie Gianoli's house, which is at 48 feet. In conjunction with the city engineer's suggestion, the sheriff's office is drafting a letter to the city requesting those roads be surveyed. Once accomplished, the deputies can begin writing and enforcing legally binding tickets for what is in the city roadway as well as on private property encroachment concerns that Heather Pilkington addressed to you in her concerns. To this, we say, yay, finally, we're going to make some progress in your beautification goals for the city, Madam Mayor. The estimates for Mill Street and Cannon are in. I would ask you to review those 3 estimates prepared by the engineer before submitting your tentative and final budgets to the state for 2014 and 15. To put Cannon Street in with no utilities, the estimates ranged from $331,000 to $373,000. I can't even imagine what it's going to cost to include utilities, and yet the council thinks those street blocks on Cannon Street are viable, developable property. Now, to bring the 1314 block of Mill Street to street code are much cheaper than that. It's only $326,000 to pave my road. Either way you choose to begin to correct those deficiencies, the tentative budget figure of allocated of $79,500 for all of the Ely City roads won't be sufficient when you're tasked with trying to best choose how to spend those dollars to fix and develop these important roads behind and in front of my house. Finally, we've instructed the title company to prepare to close. There was interest from a council member to purchase that property in the event we did not. We can't afford to lose the parking behind our house because we don't have sufficient parking in front of it. And we believe that no matter what we do, this council's not going to do anything to correct those problems. However, we're hoping for the best, and so just wanted to let you know where we were. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Mayor, May 8th, 2014, to the Ely City Council. Heading south on Wednesday, April 30th, 2014 at 3:05 p.m., I stopped the school bus I was driving at the Club 50 tracks. The tractor trailer behind me, there was a mine concentrate truck behind that, could not stop, overshot the stop, and proceeded into the northbound lane. Had any oncoming vehicles been in the northbound lane, it could have been a tragedy. Gary Tull, White Pine School District bus driver.
Who was it?
Gary Tull.
State your name.
My name is Terry Lynn Diamond, and most, if not all of you know that I'm the station manager for our local TV station, KDND. Our parent company, PMCM LLC, has moved our license to New Jersey, and we are currently operating here in Ely under an STA, which allows us to temporarily operate until construction is complete. When PMCM leaves Ely, there will be an available spot for someone to apply for a license to run a TV station here. Currently, the FCC has a freeze on licenses until they repack the frequency spectrum. PMCM LLC has offered to petition the FCC to allow an organization in our community to operate under an STA until the freeze is lifted so that the station can keep operating. Once the freeze is lifted, then you would need to file to have it reallocated. The cost of a new license would be based on the population, which in Ely's case would be the bottom level. Once the license is purchased, it is good for 8 years. And someone had suggested that I approach the city in asking if you guys wanted to take this on. If the commission agrees to allow someone to continue to operate under an STA, PMCM LLC would be willing to donate most of the equipment already in place to whomever wants to take on running a station in Ely. The best way for this to be done would be by a 501c organization so that the grants could be acquired to fund the running of the station. To give you an idea of how much it costs us to acquire the equipment that we would be leaving behind, the transmitter alone costs $40,000. When added to the rough estimates of the other equipment, you would be looking at a total equipment donation of about $93,500. The satellite dish located on city property is currently ported at the SAS-2 satellite, with which we were receiving programming from the Family Channel. Our affiliate agreement with them ran out, and they would not renew with us because we are moving. PMCM would be willing to assist the city in acquiring a new agreement with the network. In order to get the ball rolling with the FCC, PMCM LLC needs a letter of resolution to keep the station on the air from the city of Ely, if you choose to do so. If the FCC knows that someone wants to keep a station in Ely, they would be most likely inclined to approve that venture. There are no guarantees, but we are willing to help you try.
Any more public comment? None?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, I attended the last Whiteman County Planning Commission meeting and requested information regarding County Commission Chairman John Lampo's setback variance application for the new home built at 856 Mill Street. I informed them that I had asked this of the Ely Planning Commission, and that Mr. Flangus directed me to go to the county board because the variance was done approximately 5 years ago. It appeared that the county board was puzzled by my request, and I asked for a response in writing as to whether the variance was ever applied for and when it was approved. I think I'm on a merry-go-round, but I'm going through the steps. But somewhere we need a resolution, either from your end or from their end. We have rules and regulations that applies to everybody equally and fairly, or get rid of the doggone things. Madam Mayor, you have yet to provide any information where anyone of the Copper Point had ever applied for the narrowing of Campton near their facility on the corner of Campton and Great Basin Boulevard. Again, I'm asking who applied, who paid the fees, who was notified, when did it go on an agenda, and who approved it. You're going to have concerns from time to time come on the streets. The person in front of me earlier had a concern regarding their street. We got to know what the procedure is. I'm concerned in driving around the city of Ely. I see fences being built higher than the city ordinance allows. I want to remind you that Mr. Pope is taken to court, fined. I think that's selective enforcement. He's a man of limited income, and why was he singled out when you're looking the other way for others? That's wrong. I'm concerned, Madam Mayor, in regards to the encroachment on Winter Road. I'm not sure where we're going on that or where it's at. I've yet to see any kind of report. But if anyone knowingly laid down asphalt on private property, those that can't do their job have got to go. This incompetence needs to stop. Madam Mayor, to date I've not been provided a copy of loan documents to verify that Mark Bassett borrowed at zero interest the money that he donated for his help in the railroad museum. There's concerns out there, or rumors flying, that they're anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million in debt, and I find that hard to believe because I haven't missed too many meetings, city council meetings, in which the council was informed that there was a problem. I'm not saying it didn't happen, I'm just saying I might have missed it. But if that's the case, I want to see the documentation, the paper trail on that particular loan. Madam Mayor, at the recent utility board meeting I attended, I asked the chairman if he had any type of report informs him of those having outstanding accounts. I asked him, if not, why not? And if he did have a copy.
George?
Yes.
Your timer went off, but I just got one question for you. What's the address of where they're building the fence taller than? You want us to act on it, where's it at?
Well, there's more than one.
Well, give me all of them then.
No, I'm not going to do that. You got a building inspector, you pay him a lot more than you pay me. I'm just concerned about the poor individual that got hit. Now, if I can ride around and see it, and I brought incidents before you in the past, not you in particular, or this council, but it's on record and nothing was done. I mean, how many times have I got to beat my head against the wall?
All right.
Thank you, George.
Thank you. Can I get some answers?
Is there any more public comment? Number 3, this is the city department reports. Fire chief, anything?
Nothing else. Do you have any questions?
Any questions? Okay. City clerk treasurer?
Well, I attended the utility work session on the landfill. We presented to them because we researched different areas where there was different landfill fees. And it seems like the utility board, because there was 3 different ones, there was one from Wells, there was one from Pershing County, and there was one other one. Can't remember off the top of my head, but they liked Pershing County because they billed it per year, and the commercial buildings were, they would take the residential rate, I think it was $120, and it was multiplied by the areas of what it was. If it was daycare, if it was, a government building, if it was anything to that, they had different multipliers for that. And that's how they came up with the commercial rates. But one question that they did ask me to research, and I've been researching, was the base rate that they came up with the $4. That's where we're kind of like at a has, in. So I have been doing a lot of reading from January 27th, 1998, the first time when they did take over, the city took over the landfill from the county, all the way until August of 2006 yesterday, and the day before, or the Friday morning, And so far, I was unable, the only base rate that I found was $2.75 for prisons, schools, and for daycare centers. And that was the only base rate that I found at the time when they initiated the rates. But other than that, I couldn't find a base rate. I spoke with Marty yesterday on that, and he said the $4 base rate was the raise from when in 2006 they approved year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4 to come up with that $13, and that's where the $4 came in at. But I'm still making sure, because I want solid evidence on that, to make sure that's what it actually is. Because in the beginning it started with something else.
Prisons, schools, and daycare centers.
Yes, prisons, schools, and daycare centers.
I wasn't going to say that.
It's a teacher. Yeah.
But the utility board does request from the city council, and they wanted me to reply this to you guys, because Kevin Robson did put in his resignation, to relook at the ordinances, because they feel not only do they serve the city of Ely, but they feel because of the landfill serves White Pine County, they feel that they also serve White Pine County for new elected officials. And also, they feel that we do offer, since we do offer water to the counties, and if there is county properties that does run off of our services, they feel that that's a good justification of me changing the ordinances to where people county-wise can also be on the elected board also.
That's an appointed board.
Appointed board. Thank you. And then also I've been working on a request that Marty gave me for capital improvement. And that was a little task, because I had to also go into the system, go through about 4,300 customers that we had in our system, and classify them between residential and commercial and trailers and apartments. That took a very long time. So that way I can print off proper reports for Marty, so that way he can get a good idea on who we charge for capital improvements. And on top of that, I also went through the billing that we did this month individually to find out who does water and sewer in that bill. I found out that there was some places that I am questioning that I did mark that only gets charged sewer but not water. Some of them gets charged water but not sewer. And some of them only gets charged a $4 base fee for landfill when it should be $13.
Sounds like money down the drain.
Exactly. Then to top it off, I ran into a couple of customers where they did close and sell their businesses. Like, there was not businesses, but sold the property. There was one other than the fact I worked with Richmond paperwork. where they sold their property and the fee was never collected by the city of Ely. And since then, they moved to Las Vegas. The charge is only $300 and something odd dollars. We can't put a lien on the property because it wasn't the property owner's, problem. We would have to sue them
In Las Vegas.
in Las Vegas, which would be extra charges on us for the attorney. So in the long run, it's just less interest for a $300 bill just to write it off or bring it in and let you guys know. That's what I think we should do, and that's what the attorney thinks that he should do too, because it's not feasible to go down and sue them for $300. And also,
Is the property currently being utilized?
it is. It
was sold.
It was sold.
So it's not really fair to turn the water off the current occupant.
Correct.
Tempting though that might be.
And then there was another one where the property was sold, or not sold, but was taken by White Pine County for property taxes.
Oh.
And we never put a lien on it, so Rich is in the process of putting a lien on our Cherry Creek property. Because the lady sent us a letter back saying, I don't know why I'm getting this bill, this isn't mine, I don't own it, blah, 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 So I turned that one over to Rich too, so he can start proceedings on that one too. Basically about it, just really doing a lot of research and reading on minutes. Ask me anything about 2006, like, because I can tell you.
Is there anything else?
Nope, nothing else.
City attorney.
I'm wrestling with polls. So I have got a good resolution to this day that drafted an ordinance. Working with Copenhagen's office to see how that's going to work, and then I can work with Mr. Robinson to see how we can force the changeover from the old polls to the new polls. When I do the letter, I want the letter to be persuasive enough that we're not taking any further action afterwards. And there are lots of options in dealing with those polls in terms of ownership. So that's the other question. Do we want to wind up owning them and taking it out ourselves? Within a certain period of time to change over. So that's what I was asking.
Yeah. Couldn't we just
Take them home.
say we're taking down the poles, you got so many days to take your wires off, and if you don't take them off, too bad.
Probably encumbers the homeowner who's relying on cable service or telephone. So that you could get a standoff over that. So yeah, we thought about that. Anyway, so I'm still wrestling with both issues. And
Any way we can switch.
yeah, Jennifer and I worked on that, as she explained the one issue. The house sold, there was no city lien on the house for $350. And there wouldn't be today because we don't automatically lien at less than 900. So that's maybe something we need to take a look at if we want to start leaning at a lower number. Because when a house sells with no lien, you scraped off the bill. The new buyer is not subject to the old debt. So that was the problem why that one became uncollectible. There may be a way to sue those people here. I'm going to talk to the statute and see what it says to say about whether or not I can do that. And if possible, we'll go ahead and file against them here. We still have the public collecting. But it may be worth the trouble still too soon.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, Public Works Director.
I'm going to go through each department. And report the street department is working on patching and sweeping. There's some stop signs we've been using vandalism. We're going to fill the culvert on Lackawanna where the old entrance is. Was plugged up, and the county helped us block clean that out. And we're making plans to clean the ditch out so that it drains better, that there can run off. Everybody knows about the main break we had last weekend. Everything's back to normal there. Recent notices have been put out for boil water. So we're back to normal. copy of the email about the cookie and the swimming pool. So Rich has that too. Donut, cookie.
We know for sure it was I asked that question. I asked why didn't you call us? No response on that. They're willing to sign an affidavit, right? They're willing to sign an affidavit that was the cookie that lost.
Cookie.
And BJ sent me that email, and then he and I chatted that same day with respect to it. That was when they offered to do some sort of sworn affidavit. And if you take a careful look at the cookie, it was clearly worn down, battering its way through pipes before it plugged up the hydrant, which was of course our future fear.
So Waldo's been found.
Waldo was found.
Animal control, the officer working with the mayor on the new vehicle. That's something we have to show them what it's going to benefit, how it's going to benefit them.
It'll benefit us, but
I told you how it would benefit.
but the question they wanted is how, if Clark County gives us the animal control truck, how will that benefit the citizens of Clark County?
We
And
sent
that's the question.
We sent
So
a
we
one-page
sent them a
letter this
page.
afternoon.
Maybe. We had all kinds of answers, but it wouldn't make them very happy.
When I spoke with the,
Take one more vehicle that's polluting your sky
Yeah.
on the roads.
I thought about that one, but I spoke with the head of the department and explained to him that the law was such that he didn't need that. He was looking at an NRS that I didn't think was applicable. I gave him a different NRS that did apply. He was going to talk to their deputy DA because they were sort of scrabbling around for rationale for it. And I gave him as well as the statute. So we'll see where it goes. Apparently, the head of their vehicle maintenance section was in a hurry to get that thing sold. So he wanted to actually auction it tomorrow. So we scrambled around this afternoon, got the letter out to him, and whether he's or not he's going to allow it to be sold, he doesn't know. I mean, he just hasn't decided yet. He's going to check the statute, see if he can get a hold of another DA to give him some assistance. But they're auctioning apparently every 3 months and every 6 months. So if we could open the doors to for a relationship there, that may be productive in the future. That's all I have. Any questions?
Okay. City engineer.
You guys hopefully got that email I sent you this afternoon. It's nothing that you guys need to do, but it's something that we do need to get to NDOT. We finally worked through with the county and kind of drew our lines in the sand of where we stop our road maintenance and they pick up on the other side of the line there. So that's just a little map that we put together so pictorially so that you guys can understand where it is. We're going to print it larger so that the road department will have it so that they have it on the wall, look at it, know exactly what they're responsible for. Take care of it. As I told you guys last time, we're getting very, very close to completing our water analysis, that network. This is to simulate our water pressures in the area, the community. So we spend a lot of time working with Carl's been assisting us. The moment they run around with them, there's certain some pressure reducing valves, different things that we go look at pressures so that we input that same information accurately into our model, run around to all of our wells, booster pumps, so we can begin putting those pump curves for all of our programs. It's coming together nicely. It's going to be a big benefit to the city when we do get it up and running completely. And one of the things that we're going to do from there, and actually Ross was just talking about it, is there's 6 water zones in the community. And so with this program, we've basically taken, compiled, and we basically color-coded each of our water zones. So that'll be a map that I'll be able to provide to Ross, anybody else within the city that kind of shows this area of the community is running off of this equipment and this, the city's water, such as the tanks, wells, that's like I said, that's been an extreme amount of workload. We've been working on that for 3 weeks to a month, basically full time. It's extreme workload. The other thing that we're doing, we're hoping to have a preliminary set of the fill station down there at the golf course together probably next week. We'll be getting that back out to Ron, those guys to look at it, make sure they're comfortable with what's going on. Hopefully have that out on the street here pretty soon. That's kind of the gist of the major things we're working on. The only thing I do want to say is Jennifer did mention something now about an ordinance or something changing to the utility board. I'm in support of that because maybe not for the whole county, but for our service area. Because there's plenty of people that live up in Mineral Heights that pay the same utility bill. In fact, they pay a surcharge. They pay more than the citizens of the town. And so there's plenty of people up there that may want to come. You're eliminated certain people that may want to come and sit on that board and assist us. And they're being served by the same utilities as the city residents. So it might expand to our service area, not necessarily the county.
As much as you live up there, is there
No, I will not serve on the board.
No, that wasn't what I was
Okay.
wondering. Has there been any discussion by your neighbors in that part of the world about having the city of Ely annex them?
I haven't heard anything here for the longest time.
Just wondering.
They said no.
They said no.
They said no.
It's burning on the park across from the railroad depot.
Okay.
They are, and we had never settled what we're going to do with Avenue A. I mean, with the council, I think we need to come back and we need to decide.
I think it should be because I think you guys did vote for one of the scenarios, and then I provided that information to them. I haven't seen their final plan, but I provided after you guys had come and made a vote of what you wanted to see the final alignment of that roadway. I provided that information to them, so they should know where we do want to put our curb and gutter for future road towards there. So it should match. I haven't seen the final plans to verify, but I provided that information to those engineers. Any other questions? Thanks.
Thank you. Can everybody back there hear us okay?
No. We can't hear you at all.
Have to speak up.
Even over here, we can't hear this.
Are these on?
Yeah, we can't hear it.
Anyone at the microphone need to speak up a little bit more? Okay, we'll go on now. Okay, on new business, I'm going to move up an agenda item, and I'm going to move up agenda item number 13, and then we'll do agenda item number 12. Okay, number 13, this is Councilman Hanson. This is a discussion for possible action, including but not limited to reprimand, demotion, promotion, endorsement, engagement, retention, or no action. And this is a consideration of the character, allegations of misconduct, professional competence, or physical and mental health of City Clerk Treasurer Jennifer Rogan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I appreciate your courtesies in moving up the agenda item. I'm actually also here. Mr. Bassett could not be here, so I will be here for the White Pine Historical Railroad Foundation Board of Trustees. He asked me to just be here. I can answer whatever questions I can to the best of my ability. So I didn't know if it was your pleasure to go ahead and do items 4 and 5 and then move into these personnel sessions, if you wanted to do the personnel sessions now. I have to be here for all 3 of those things anyway, so.
Okay, well, let's go ahead with just 12 and 13 for right now.
Okay, and if it's okay with the mayor, I don't know if I can sit at the dais between my 2 clients.
Are you doing both at the same time?
No, we're going to do 13 first, and then we'll do 14.
Okay.
I mean 12.
Before you get started on that, I move that we place Jennifer Rogan on non-disciplinary administrative leave with pay until further investigation is done. I said I move that we put Jennifer Rogan on non-disciplinary leave paid until further investigation is done.
I think we need to talk about it.
Well,
We need to have a discussion.
I made a motion.
Okay. I'll come in, I'll talk on that. First, I have a problem with both 12 and 13. First of all, as a council here, we replaced the last 2 people. And as a council here, as a group, we have never sat down and given any direction, any delineation of duties or anything. but now you come here and say they should be placed on leave because they didn't do things right according to what standards? I mean, we have 3 people on this board that belong to unions, either have been or currently are. And then those people, when they have something done, they're told what they're doing wrong. They're told they give them help to how to do it. And then they're reviewed again, and if they still aren't proceeding well, they're said, do some more help. It's not a snap decision on this. So if you 3 people that have been in unions and been through this, how can you turn this to 2 other people and not give them even half the courtesy you professionals have?
I think that is one of the issues that Randy's addressing in his motion.
Randy
Later on,
did make the discussion.
No, not motion, but I'm sorry, agenda item to institute performance appraisals. I agree with you. I have sat through a number of these things in my prior career. I've written a number of these types of documents in my prior career, which is not always a pleasant thing to do. And we went to great lengths to stress that there are certain standards. We identify what those standards are, and we adhere to those. However, in this particular instance, each one of these specific agenda or issues which are raised here is something that comes out of the policy and personnel manual of the city. So there should be things which are clearly and fairly well known to every employee of the city, and particularly those who have a supervisory responsibility to it. But that being said, I think you raise a very fair point in that we don't give performance appraisals to our highest level employees. And I think it's a very valid thing that Randy's got on the agenda to discuss exactly what our expectations are.
Okay, and I have nothing on here except for what the mayor and you put on here. I don't know what you're talking about. And so how can a council make a decision on anything when you don't have any information in front of you? The council would all it would say is, how stupid are you as this council? You make a decision you have no information on.
The information that was put in those letters was precluded from being disseminated to other members of the council on advice of the attorney.
That was by me. Let me explain why. Okay. Just so we're all on the same page. When you do 13 and 12, okay, you are no longer acting like rule makers, people who pass laws. Today you're acting like judges on 13 and 12. And the rules are different from one task to the other task. In fact, what we're going to do if we get into the body of this is you will be tasked with accepting evidence, reviewing the evidence, discussing the evidence, making a decision on whether something is good evidence and you should pay attention to it or not. The rules from the Administrative Procedure Act control these kinds of things because what you're talking about doing is affecting somebody's rights. Okay? A job is a fundamental right. And people have an opportunity for notice, which we gave, right? They have an opportunity to respond to the charges, which means they had to have the charges well in advance of this hearing so they knew what the claims were so they could talk about it. And they were given that. But you guys, like judges, you don't get to see this stuff till the last minute because we don't want you prejudging the issue. You're supposed to be making your decision, if you make one, on the evidence that you see today, not based on hearsay or what somebody said in the communities or anything else, just on the statements and on the evidence you hear. That's because today, on 12 and 15, you're judges. You're not council